Barely made any money in your limited company? There's still some stuff to do. As a business accountant, my team and I spend all day long helping business owners on their journey. And in this particular video, I just wanted to talk to you about something that pops up all the time, either in conversations with clients, inside our DMs or our comments. And it's just worth doing a little video on it to kind of clarify, I think. So before I get into it though, if you like these type of videos, make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell below so you get notified whenever we release more just like this one. So if you've got a limited company and you've barely made any money, so this is a very common scenario. People will say, oh, you know, I opened this limited company up on the side and, you know, I've hardly made anything, to be honest. It's less than £1,000 or it's less than 12.5 grand. I don't need to do anything, right? Well, the answer is you still need to do things. I think the reason and the misunderstanding comes from, especially like we've got tons of videos on the YouTube channel talking about self-employed trading allowances where you might not need to do a tax return, or people know and are aware of the fact that generally as a UK individual, you might have 12.5 grand of tax-free income you can earn, and they think, well, I don't need to file anything, it's under there, so I probably don't owe any tax. But the reality is with a limited company, it doesn't matter basically. If you've earned £1, you've still got to put in a tax return, a corporation tax return, and you've also got to submit accounts to the revenue. So we've done other videos going a bit more detail into those things, but just know it's not like you can just not file anything. If you've traded that limited company, you know, it's opened a bank account, or even if it hasn't, and you've bought stuff and you've sold stuff, you've traded, right? So the minute that's happened, you've got to submit something to Companies House. So some accounts have to go to Companies House. They can't be dormant ones. They've got to be kind of a different style. And again, I'll link some more video to that, but you've got a couple of options of what to do, but you have to do something. Otherwise you get fines and they'll continually write to you. The ultimate case is if you don't file anything, they're actually moved to strike your company off, which means that it'll disappear. Any cash in that bank account becomes property of the Queen, and that's it, it's gone. There are ways to get it back, but that's a whole other costly and long video probably to talk about. So, but just know that you don't want to be in that situation. You will get big fines, especially if you wanted to keep the company. You're late and then you go file it. Depending on how late it is, those fees go up. And if it's not your first time you've done it, those fees double. So bear that in mind. And then the other side of it is the tax people want to know about it. So there's another full set of accounts that get done with a corporation tax return that need to go to the revenue. Now, there is a free tool that will help you do this, but honestly, I've never seen anybody complete it properly. I'm sure there are people that do use it, but it's very specific, kind of very narrow tool. But there is in theory an option, but to give you an example, as business accountants, we even have accountants that are our clients that just don't want to do this end bit because they need the third-party software and that's expensive. So just know that it is really difficult. It's not like doing a personal tax return where you can just effectively, you can have a bit of a guess at what goes in the boxes. You actually need some accountancy knowledge to get these accounts to a certain standard and format, and then they have to be electronically tagged to go with this tax return, and it all gets sent electronically. It's not like you can do it any sort of other way. And I've had a few conversations with people in the last few months who have tried to do this and realised that they try to log on to do it, and then they're like, but I can't do this thing. And it's like, yeah, it's because you need accounts and they have to be tagged. It just gets complicated. By all means, go and investigate it though. So the biggest thing for this is make sure that you're looking at when you've got to submit it well in advance, because even if you decide, actually, I've given it a go and I can't do it, and you need an accountant, these things take time. They're big pieces of work, even if you've done a small amount of money. So I always use the example, you know, if you've just done, you know, 800 quid's worth of sales, sometimes the paperwork, quite often, the paperwork required from a filing point of view is the same as if you've done 85 grand. It makes no difference. You know, you've still got these two sets of accounts, this corporation tax return. If it's the first year, it could be two corporation tax returns. So it's quite a significant bit of work. So if you're going to look to employ an accountant, there's going to be some cost behind that as well. So yeah, don't leave it to the last minute. Do look, but do know that you do have to do something. It's not like you can just be like, I barely did anything, they're not going to mind. They do mind, and then you do need to file it, and it doesn't matter the level you did, the filing is the same. So hopefully this has helped. If you know anybody in this situation that needs to know this information, please do share it with them, and I'll see you in the next one.